We've looked at some of the most requested remasters, but now let's look at the remasters or remakes so bad we wish we never actually got them. How can a remaster be worse than the original? Well, a lot of these games manage to find a way. When remastering a game, a studio has the opportunity to make some quality of life improvements or add some extra content, but go too far and you risk damaging the identity of the game. It can be a tough balancing act, and different gamers want different things. I think the remaster of XIII is a good example of things going too far. Aside from bugs and bad AI, Ubisoft remastered the graphics to the point that it looks completely different, and it lost its unique art style the game was praised and loved for. It currently sits at overwhelming negative reviews on Steam. You get some cases where the remasters of games are assigned to less experienced teams, with big companies like Ubisoft, and that's to help build up the experience of newer staff. There's less work in remastering a game as opposed to creating a completely new game. Some companies will even outsource the remastering of their games to other companies, and when the game is in the hands of another studio, you can't always guarantee they'll be faithful and respect the original games. Bluepoint is a studio well known for specialising in remasters and remakes, and they do a really good job, from the God of War collection to Demon's Souls. But when Rockstar outsourced the remastering of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy to Grove Street Games, it was a different case, so let's get into that. Grand Theft Auto the Trilogy Remastered. It's been hitting the news lately with some pretty ridiculous and meme-worthy clips from the clearly unfinished game. There's some horrible character models with really long arms, monstrosities with no shoulders or necks, spelling typos, buggy weather effects, crazy rain that's not even transparent, and there's performance and frame rate issues with them being worst on the Nintendo Switch. Some of this stuff is entertainingly bad, but no matter how much they mess things up, at least we still have the originals. Well, if you already own them, because Rockstar removed the original games from digital stores to push people to instead buy the more expensive new ones. So the Remaster trilogy was published by Rockstar, but was actually developed by Grove Street Games, and it's pretty obvious that this has been pushed out early and unfinished to get some Christmas sales. I don't think Rockstar were expecting the massively negative reception they rightly received, but they should have learnt from Cyberpunk's huge mistake from releasing unfinished. I was really looking forward to replaying these 3 Grand Theft Auto games. I started dabbling in the originals, but I was having some controller problems and just decided to wait for the remasters. All power to you if you're enjoying them, but I think I'm going to wait for some patches and discounts. Final Fantasy VI had incredible pixel art, originally on the Super Nintendo, and was ported to a lot of different systems over time. The Game Boy Advance version added 2 bonus dungeons and several new summons, albeit the audio quality would be a bit lower on the Game Boy Advance, but it's generally considered to be great with the extra content. But come 2015 and Final Fantasy VI was ported once again, this time to Steam. Square Enix cleaned up and redid a lot of the artwork, but they butchered it. The character models looked terrible, textures didn't even line up and tile correctly. Attention to detail was missing. Horrible user interfaces better designed for touchscreens. It now used a very basic and bland font. With Final Fantasy VI, there's been a complete change in art style with no respect for the original game and material. But Square Enix will be remastering FF6 again on Steam, coming soon, and the new remaster looks like it's going to be good and more faithful to the pixel art graphic style, but you'll need to fork out to rebuy the game again. The Master Chief Collection is a collection of Halo 1 to 4 and integrates all the multiplayer modes and maps together. It's really fun, but in 2014 the Master Chief Collection's online matchmaking was completely broken, and it was very difficult to join games for years. Microsoft ended up giving out free Halo 3 ODST DLC, a month of Xbox Live, and Halo avatars to try and calm people down. This one had a very rocky start, but at least it got fixed in the end, and I've managed to recreate some epic Halo evenings with the campaigns, multiplayer, and silly custom games. Something that never got fully fixed was Warcraft III Reforged. The original Warcraft 3 was my most favourite real-time strategy game of all time. I loved the campaigns and I've put countless hours into playing player-made custom games online. But this reforge of the game is a unique case where the remastered version of the game breaks and ruins the original version of the game also. It was bad enough that Blizzard sold the game with false promises of improvements to the campaign and cutscenes. But at launch they removed clans, ladders, tournament mode, custom campaigns, player profiles, and custom games were a lot more limited. these features were not only missing in the remaster, but removed from the original too. Blizzard sealed the game's fate, and it sat with a deserved 0.6 out of 10 on Metacritic's user reviews. Silent Hill 2 and 3 HD were considered a disaster with audio problems, glitches, performance issues, crashes, and bad lip syncing. But worst of all, some visual updates mess with the brightness of the game and reduce the thickness of the fog. That fog is a critical part of the horror experience of Silent Hill, and without it, it's just not the same. Apparently Konami lost the original game's source code, so they had to use an earlier build of the game with missing features and bugs. Development time was spent fixing bugs that were already fixed in the full version of the game, and a few managed to sneak through. There's a few complications when it comes to remastering games. Licenses expiring is a big one. These could be for music, characters, or access to entire universes like Star Wars. I'd really like to see a Battle for Middle-earth 2 remastered and rebalanced, but the licenses around that are going to be the biggest hurdle. Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Grand Theft Auto lost the licenses to some of their music tracks, so in the remasters they use different music tracks from the originals, and that might understandably turn some fans off. You generally want a remaster to be as faithful as possible. You want them to keep to the same styles, themes, and a few extra or quality of life changes where possible. Are there any remasters you've been disappointed with? Let me know in the comments. If the video was useful, boop the like button to help spread this to others, and peace for now.